All right, welcome to the first ever virtual Pulaski area Relay for Life. This year has been like no other. It would have been easy for us to cancel this year's event. Everyone would have understood. But our teams rose to the challenge and continued the fight. Cancer did not stop, and neither did we. I cannot thank the Pulaski area community and our sponsors enough for their generosity during these challenging times. I'd like to take a moment and recognize this year's sponsors. On behalf of the American Cancer Society and the Pulaski Area Relay for Life Committee, thank you to Kinney Drugs Foundation, Tangle's Hair Salon, Bolton Companies, North Country Veterinarian Services, Felix Scholler Group, Healthway, Calet Theater, and Ringgold Fire Department. I also would like to take a moment and recognize this year's committee. Thank you to Tammy Wood, Kathy Adams, Linda Curry, Nancy Shirley, Jen King, Margaret Weigel, Patty Colvin, and Don Boshart. Thank you for getting on all of those virtual meetings over the past few months to make this first ever virtual event a success. Also, if you'd like to make a donation, you still can. Just go to relayforlife.org/Pulaski, New York. Again, that's relayforlife.org/Pulaski, New York to keep the donations coming in. Now I'd like to turn it over to Kathy Adams to start Luminary.
Welcome to the Relay for Life virtual Luminary ceremony. The three tenets of our Relay for Life event have always been celebrate, remember, fight back. I have missed not seeing our survivors walk the track with their loved ones celebrating life. They are our beacons of hope in the scary world that is a cancer diagnosis. Celebrating them makes us all very grateful and hopeful for a cure for all cancers. A cancer diagnosis is scary. It's scary for the person with cancer, it's scary for the family, and for friends. Your support is immeasurable when loved ones are under treatment. The treatments, the aftermath of the treatments, the physical, mental, and emotional challenges are huge for everyone. There is anxiety before scans and more anxiety while waiting for results. In the back of your mind, you always wonder. A friend described it to me as this thing that might be sneaking around growing inside of her body, and she didn't even know. Our committee is comprised of people who care about this cause. We have all lost someone to cancer. Imagine our surprise when a year and a half ago, the youngest at the table announced his own cancer diagnosis. Here to tell his story about his journey is Travis Rice.
Good evening, everybody. As Kat said, my name is Travis Rice. I've been involved with the Pulaski Relay pretty much since its inception, serving as a team captain in 2015, and after that joining the committee, just because this really is such a special and impactful event, and I truly think as important as everybody makes it out to be. So just like a lot of people, I've been touched by cancer in many ways. I've had a grandfather on each side have colon cancer. One of those grandfathers also suffering through leukemia and making it through both. More colon cancer from aunts on both sides. And what really was the first close to hit home that I had was in 2014. I was about 2 weeks away from getting married, and I could tell that there was just something really wrong with my mother. And she tried as hard as she could to keep it quiet, and it makes me emotional just thinking about it now, but I'll never forget her coming out saying that she had breast cancer and how absolutely hard and devastating that was. But what I'll really give her credit for is she never gave up. She fought through and just absolutely crushed it. Just never missed a beat. Never lost her personality, knew that it was going to be okay, and thank God she made it through. She's a survivor today, and she really does serve as an inspiration. And it was that when Bill first called me up and said, "Hey, we're getting ready to start a Relay for Life for Pulaski," in 2015. Do you want in? Of course, how could you not be? So that first relay was really special for me because that was the first relay where my mother was really finishing up her treatments, and we knew that she was on the path to recovery and being a survivor. And I'll never forget going into the second year, right after we finished up, my wife commented on a little spot she noticed on the back of one of my legs. I thought, well, it's just a freckle. I'm pretty fair-skinned. I've got a lot of freckles. It's nothing. Go ahead and move a year later, and she had been continuing, tell me, you should really get that looked at. You should really get that looked at. And I put it off. I'm busy at work. There's too much going on. We've got to prep for relay. I can't, I promise I'll look at it after. So sure enough, after our 2017 relay, I went to the doctor, got it looked at. It had grown to maybe a little bigger than, a pencil eraser, probably. And, okay, it's just, maybe a little mole that's growing a little aggressively. We'll just get it cut off and be fine with it. I remember that maybe a week and a half later, it's about 8:45 at night, and I get a call from my personal doctor on her cell phone. I was like, this is a little unusual. And she told me that your lab results have come back, and it looks like it has been diagnosed as malignant melanoma. So this is really aggressive. We want to be as proactive about this as we can. I've already referred you to Roswell out in Buffalo, and they'll be following up with you very soon. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so I'll have to get something cut off. Nothing really clicked with me yet. My wife was there, kind of understanding how unusual it was getting that call from our doctor at night on her personal cell phone like that. And I told her what it was, and it's one of those moments that I think you'll never really forget. It really defined it, because it was the first time something clicked with me that this was serious, where she just started crying. And I instantly called my mother up because she knew that I was getting something tested, and I think it was an attitude that only a survivor could have, where she, not a quiver in her voice, nothing changed. She said, son, we're going to get through this. So it still hadn't really clicked in, and that was one of the big things that I really learned is, as Kathy mentioned, a diagnosis can be really scary, but it's also very easy to downplay it and deny it and not think that it's anything serious. And that's definitely the camp that I was in. I didn't understand the reason why everybody was getting upset. Oh, okay, it's a skin cancer. You just get it cut off and you're good to go. You might have to get a couple stitches and you move on, and it's not a big deal. And after that initial diagnosis, of course, my wife checked my body over like crazy. She happened to find another spot on my back, and we called the doctor back, got in a couple days later, got that diagnosed. At this point, I had started to at least look into it a little bit. What actually is malignant melanoma? How serious is it? My doctor's saying it's the most aggressive type, but what does that actually mean? And that was the first time I realized that skin cancer is still cancer. You look at it, it's still probable chemotherapy treatment, radiation treatment, very aggressive to get into the lymph nodes and spread. And the next big snapshot that I really remember after this was the first time I told friends at work that I was probably going to be out for a little while, at least from surgery, as it had already been scheduled at Roswell. And I had been fine the whole time. Oh, this is nothing. I'll get through it. I'm a very optimistic person as it is. And I remember telling them, and as the words left my mouth, I remember just losing it, crying. Everything really kind of flooding over me in once, that I had been putting off for the whole other week. And one of my good friends there looked me straight in the eye and said, "Hey, you got this." And that reach out, even though I had totally broken down, really meant the world. And I think about that moment a lot, even today. So, fast forward about 2 weeks, we're driving actually down to Roswell for my first visit and for the surgery that had been scheduled based on the results that they already had. And I get another call from my doctor, and the spot on my back had also come back tested as melanoma. So it's at this point that I'm starting to really fully accept that it might be more aggressive than I was thinking it was, with just getting some spots cut off. And sure enough, we get there, and it's the honesty from the staff. This is probably going to equate to needing to be more than just a surgery. There will probably be some localized radiation, some chemotherapy involved. Thankfully, it was a early enough stage that it wasn't probable that had done a lot of permeations into the lymph nodes, but it was a precautionary thing. So I went through the procedure. Everything was fine. Had to get some additional treatments, making frequent trips out to Roswell. And it was finally the relay the year later, where 3 weeks after our 2018 relay, I went down for what would have been my final full year's monthly treatments, and I was considered a full survivor. And what's been really interesting this year, as Bill mentioned, relay's been very different this year, and it's obviously been an unprecedented world that we're living in. And looking at how everybody has been having to go through the trials and tribulations this year, challenges with work, even being able to visit family, social distancing, worrying about spreading diseases and viruses, and it really rocked the world to its core. And the truth is that as much as this hit the world hard, it hit cancer patients even harder. All of a sudden, they're in the highest risk group. They're being isolated from family members. The caregivers can't necessarily be there as readily for them. And that's a really sombering thought, and the challenges that they had to go through and continue to go through even as we're here tonight. And looking back on my own journey with this, like I mentioned, I can picture those snapshots. Getting that phone call, telling my wife, telling my mother, telling my friends at work. And that outreach and support is what really held it together for me. And it sounds very hyperbolic, but I don't know if I would have been able to get through everything without that. And it's just such a challenge. And that's why I think I'll always be an advocate, as I think many cancer survivors are. Don't take anything for granted. Don't put things off. Don't think that it's nothing, that it can't happen to you. Listen to yourself, listen to your body. Yes, this is a really common message that you hear from a lot of cancer survivors, but the reason that everybody says it is because it's the truth. And if you ever find yourself in that caregiver role, reach out. Let people come to you when they're ready, when they need it, or when you think they need it, because just reaching out, telling somebody, hey, it's going to be okay. You can do this. That's sometimes the most important thing that you can do. So, as we're here tonight, looking at all of our luminaries, for those who did survive, for those who didn't, as you're remembering the trials and tribulations that we're going through in the problematic world that we find ourselves in now, make sure not to lose focus about what's important. Your family, your loved ones, and making sure to take care of them, making sure they're okay. And if anybody does find themselves in a situation, be there for them. It'll mean more to them than you probably realize.
Thanks, Travis, and to your entire family and the community who have embraced you in your journey. We appreciate your commitment to Relay and to this committee, and we're thankful you're here, and we wish you many more years of clean stands and good health. Celebrate, remember, fight back. A tradition at Relay is the lighting of the luminary bags. Bags are purchased in memory of those lost to cancer, in support of those with a cancer diagnosis, and in celebration of those who have had successful cancer treatments. Our track is illuminated by luminaria. Each bag represents a person. Each person has a name. Each one represents a relationship. Each has its own story to tell. These people are our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, brothers, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, our grandparents, or their friends and other friends and loved ones. As they glow through the night, they represent our shared vision for a cancer-free future. We love the people these luminary represent. We remember them, we celebrate them, and we fight back against this disease for them and with them. And we're going to walk the track, and so you can see some of the bags that have been purchased. Thank you.
We're like sailors in the night, being guided by a light, just a beacon on the shore, giving hope and strength and more, walking through this sea of lights. I sense unity and might. Oh, the power of passion in this place. Every memory has a face. There's a name of the ones who still are here. There's a name of those gone we still hold dear. There's a name, each one shining in the flames, and we know that every candle has a name. These are loved ones we have known. Some still here, but some are gone. In this time, in our own way, as the footsteps melt away, we see love in every flame, like a never-ending chain, and we know that every candle has a name. Of the ones who still are here, there's a name. Of those gone we still hold dear, there's a name. Each one shining in the flames, and we know that every candle has a name. And we know
didn't know today would be your last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
Well, thank you everyone for participating in the first virtual luminary. Thank you to Travis and Kathy. Great job. Now I'd like to recognize our teams and share what has been raised so far. Starting with Circle P, $35. The Sugar Shakers, $133. Going Gray for Grandpa, $335. Sterl and Marge's crew, $714. Ringgold Fire Company, $1,000. Hope for a Cure, Park UMC, $1,062. Fulton Companies, $1,421. Tangle's Hair Salon, $2,425. And our newest team this year, Kimmy's Crew, raising $4,486. Wow. Overall, we raised almost $12,000. Thank you again to all the teams for your help in raising money to fight cancer. I know that one day your dedication will help put an end to cancer once and for all. We will still continue to raise money for this year's event until the end of September. So feel free to donate. relayforlife.org/Pulaski, New York. Next year's event will be Saturday, June 12th, 2021, here at the Haldane Center in Pulaski. Hopefully, we will all be together in person to honor our survivors, thank our caregivers, and remember the ones we have lost to this awful disease. Again, I cannot thank the Pulaski area community, our sponsors, the teams, and the Pulaski Relay Committee for their dedication and generosity in helping raise money to fight cancer. Thank you, and see you next year.